Hello and welcome to the Self-Sewn Wardrobe podcast and live broadcast with Mallory Donahue and
And her mother.
Zede almost said something she wasn't supposed to say on the internet. So
Apparently, I say a lot of things I'm not supposed to say on the internet, and sometimes they get on there.
well, no, I think our connection wasn't good. Hi, Eric. Hi, Sandy.
My boyfriend.
Yeah, you have all the boyfriends.
I know, I like
You just think
boyfriends.
everybody's your boyfriend who's
feels-
in the group.
Feels good.
Okay. Hi, Marisa. I left my bottle. Hold on.
Mallory needs her water.
I went.
Oh, what did I do with mine? There it is.
The reason we're a minute late is because I went to get water and I left it over there.
Yes, that is
Sandy?
what I said.
Sandy, we get the yes. Read
Yes.
the comments. All right, so if you're listening to this as a podcast, make sure to. If you have a fear of Facebook or an aversion, it's understandable. But you could join Facebook with just your fake sewing name
That's
and be a
right.
part of the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/self-sewn wardrobe. And good morning to Melissa. Who did I see? Jacqueline. And there's Bethany. Hi, Bethany.
Melissa. Did you say Melissa?
Yes, it's Melissa. So that's good. We'll keep saying hi to people as they join, but the comments are amazing. So it's good to have
At
you
least
all.
we hope so.
It's good to have. They're amazing so far. Good to have you all with us. And this morning I brought Mom on to talk about Cotton Organdy. Now, Mom isn't normally on this podcast. Every day that
Every
I go
time
live,
it's yes.
I do live three mornings a week, and Mom isn't normally on here, but we have another podcast called Sewing Out Loud. And we
Right.
put that out every week, and that's me and Mom every single week. So good morning to Catherine. And there's Jacqueline. Yeah. Okay, so Mom, tell me a little bit about Cotton Organdy.
Okay, well, I'm trying to think when I discovered Cotton Organdy. I believe it was late 80s, early 90s. It's been around since 1830s or something like that.
Yeah, sure. It's an old
Right.
it's an old fabric.
It's sort of an old heirloom fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And Cotton Organdy it's used for outer clothing.
Yeah.
It has a translucent sheerness about it. Let's see, you can see very
Oh yeah, you can
easily,
see our hands.
you know,
through
how I
here.
can see through it. So a lot of garments were made from this, like what we now refer to them as heirloom garments. But it also has a stiffness about it. So it's good for an interfacing or an underlining, or it adds that quality to whatever you want to put it in. And there's actually 3 types.
Okay.
And is this the one that's coming in the box?
This is what's coming in the
Okay.
box. This is kind of why we're talking about it
Right.
today.
I believe this is what we call the semi-stiff. There's stiff,
Uh-huh.
there's a semi-stiff, and a soft. Now the soft is still got body.
Kind of stiff.
Okay, well, and why it has body is because these are tiny little fibers that are twisted really, really hard, like really, really tight.
Tight.
Yes, and it's an even weave.
And this is really nice cotton organdy that we've
Right.
sourced. This is not cotton poly blend.
No.
Okay.
No.
Not that we're like against using polyester in your
Well-
garments or
well,
anything, but it's 100% Egyptian cotton.
Right. Well,
in this
organdy
fabric.
is not organdy unless it is cotton,
Mhm.
okay, or silk. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, there's organza
Okay.
that is polyester or rayon.
Okay. Well, can't you have silk organza?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
I think
you can have silk organza.
Which, I assume is the same thing as silk organdy.
It's
Because organza and organdy, supposedly the only difference is fiber content.
Right. So it's silk organza and it's cotton organdy, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes the silk will be blended with something, especially if you're looking at a silk organza that is sparkly,
Right.
or
right,
has
right.
like a
Well,
texture to it. That's definitely
Right. You're going to have probably a poly in there.
Right.
And when you see that organza in the store, a lot of times it's got a sparkle to it, and that's what
Make
they
sure
want.
to talk into your mic.
Okay, and that's what they want it for. So you can use this flat. You can use this gathered. Like if you wanted to put this in like the puff of a sleeve to keep a sleeve up, this could go there, like in the cap of a sleeve or something. So flat. Now, the thing that I like about why I want to use the cotton and why I want to use the cotton as an interfacing is this will launder. It does wrinkle, okay, but it easily smooths out again.
It
with
presses
ironing.
out.
Right. And when you have that inside your garment, whether you launder it, whether you
Dry
clean it, you know, however you get that garment clean, it will iron out again. When you go to iron that lapel where you've put it or something, it will smooth out again, and you will regain the stiffening. Now, some of the stiffening will go away with multiple ironings because it is a starch that's in it.
We're giving you a half yard of this so that you can use this with the way we're sort of like marketing it or offering it.
I don't pre-treat, Amanda.
So Amanda just asked, do you pre-treat? We don't really
because
do anything
I like
with this.
the starch that's in there.
Yeah, we like the stiffness. But we are sort of presenting this to you as an interfacing alternative. Now, when we say that, a lot of times people will use fusible interfacing in the collar of their shirt or a placket or something, and then later they launder it, and it will crinkle up in there, and it can like refuse in a different place.
Yes, or you'll even hear it like popping. Like I've heard it get crinkly or popping, and I mean basically when you use that iron-on, you're putting glue into, you know, between your two, and it's also a lot of times like a paper fiber, so it's not
always
it's not
a
what
fabric.
I consider a clothing fabric.
And there are different types of interfacings out there for sure. And you know, Glenda had some of that, like the Islander shirt interfacing that she sells. It was some nice stuff,
but it was fabric.
It was a fabric, and it
was
fusible.
not iron. It was fusible.
It was.
Oh wow!
There was some of it that was fusible.
I have to tell you, I mean, I never used fusible.
So you talk to us about, because this is something I think that's a great tip that you give a lot. Talk to us about cutting out your garment.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So if I was making a collar, right? And I wanted my interfacing to put in my collar, and sometimes in a pattern you'll get an interfacing pattern and you'll get a collar pattern.
Yeah.
I take my collar pattern and I take my collar fabric and I layer them on top of each other and I cut them at the same time.
So you cut the fashion fabric and the interfacing or the cotton organdy at the same time.
All of it, because I want the same shape.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't, and I don't want it to get contorted. So then maybe so I wind up sandwiching it between my two fashion layers. But, of course, I'm going to grade that seam.
Right.
And this is nice enough that it will go in that seam and give you a crisp seam. And that's what I'm looking for.
And it will, when you cut out with the layers at the same time, I just think that's a great thing. Because when I first started to get into garments that had interfacing, I would cut things out separately. And then you move them and then, I'm a pretty
fit.
I'm a pretty good.
Yeah, you're a pretty precise.
I'm a pretty good cutter.
Right.
You know, I really am. I mean, not that I never make a mistake, but I'm a pretty good cutter. But man, why not just cut them out at the same time, right?
Well, it makes sense. I guess the other thing I should let out of the bag, so to speak, is I seldom face anything. Okay. And when I'm saying that, it's like, when you cut out like a shirt. And then they give you a facing pattern that just goes down like this.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it comes out. You can a lot of times see the facing when you're wearing it. So I will probably cut the entire lining. So I cut that garment twice.
Yeah.
Right. I've got two fronts one's a lining. Or I'll use a bias treatment.
There was a woman who on Instagram, she was talking about a silk camisole that she made.
Right.
And she is a black woman, and she made this like very light
color
silk camisole out of facing, and she said, this doesn't look very good on my skin tone because
now you see that. Right.
Yeah, and I was like, I'd never,
so
had
in
that problem.
That case, I mean, and a lot of times in that case, what I will do is I will cut two fronts.
That's what she was talking about.
One back and the back, arms or neck or whatever, I'll do a bias treatment
Right.
too.
And people, Karen asked again, do we pre-treat it? No, we just use it right off the bolt. And then Amanda asked if we were going to stock this cotton organdy, and yes. And
Sandy, see, we should have had this yesterday.
And the other thing about this is, in the Sew Here box, we were going to try and include a piece of white and a piece of black. We were going to give you like a fat quarter of each
Right.
to create a half yard. But our cotton organdy supplier says that their really nice black cotton organdy had a lot of flaws in it, and they sent it back.
Yeah, you don't want slubs.
And he
flaws.
said, I have a cotton poly blend. And I was like, I'd rather give you all just a big piece of the white.
So what
you know.
happens when you get that blend is when you do go to launder or press or steam, one fiber acts one way and the other fiber acts the other.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you really don't want it as an interfacing. So
The blend as an interfacing.
right,
Yeah.
I actually have some samples here, just
Yeah,
kind of to
let's-
show some.
let's
Okay,
see those.
This was a quick change costume that it's kind of funny. I think
You would hang
what
it
did I
up.
make
You
it?
hang it up.
Well, I need to turn it inside out.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what it was made for. Oh, it says Opera 2000. So this was made in
No,
2000.
it says, hold
What?
on. It says, Hillary, you're my greatest star. Love, Mom, Opera 2000, CMC. So let's
This
show
actually had to be a quick change, so it's sort of got like a built-in vest quasi corset, but it needed to have a zipper in it and not be historically correct. So anyway, I don't have a facing in here. What I have in here, yeah, historically correct with a
I want to show
invisible
I wanna
zipper.
show 'em it's hard to see the embroidery because
Right.
it's pale blue on the organdy, but Mom used to do this for all of our costumes that she'd make us. She would embroider a little message in the lining, do the year and where we performed. Sometimes she'd put our role in there or, other details. So this is cotton organdy.
Right, and it has softened.
Yes, it has.
Okay, because this has been laundered a million times. The dress is actually rayon. This is a rayon velvet, and this is a rayon whatever, but it's rayon.
Some kind
And-
of woven,
right.
yeah.
Now here you can see I didn't use the cotton organdy to puff the sleeve. I actually used tulle.
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
I've got these layers of tulle.
You
that
put
did
the
that.
cotton organdy in the front panel here
Yes.
to line the velvet, and
and
then
then down the back.
and down the back to
So this is a princess seam.
uh-huh.
So what I did is, you can see I cut this middle piece out with
Yeah.
the front piece,
Uh-huh.
and then the back. This is nice because the trim's delineating the seam for me. Good illustration. And then I cut this back center. I didn't really need all this cotton organdy in the
In the
rest of the dress.
sides.
Well, there's this thing about costumes. You spend all this time on it, and then I knew this costume was going to be worn for like 3 minutes, which really didn't happen. It's been worn 1,000 times.
I was gonna say
now.
I wore it.
Right, yeah, like for some reason everybody's like, oh, we could use that.
Yeah.
So it's turned out to be something that has
But-
been used over and over again.
So if there is anyone in here, I don't know, no one's introduced themselves and said this, I don't think. If there is anyone in here who's like a reenactor, try to contain yourself.
yeah. This is not, I can show you costumes that are
Right.
historically correct. This is not one.
Right. So, but
like I
this-
said, it had to be a quick change. There had to be a zipper in it.
But interfacing that front piece
Right.
with the cotton organdy made it a little stiffer,
Right.
so it didn't just look like a skating costume that was made out of crushed velvet. It looks,
Right, right.
like a structured garment.
This is actually another costume, and here the organdy is used actually on the outside. So this was Mallory, age 9,
10, 9 or 10?
Sound of Music.
No, Music Man.
Music Man, excuse me, Music Man. She did Sound of Music when she was like 5, I guess, or 6. So this is actually a blend organza. Okay. Organdy, whatever. And then this is the cotton organdy. And this will be interesting for you. There's a lot of serging on this dress too. This will be interesting. So this collar is just one layer of the organdy, and I've got a little embroidery on it. And the only way this is finished is with a tiny 3-thread
I think it's a hem.
serger hem.
Narrow hem.
Yeah, narrow hem. And actually, it's got a little bit of a sparkle in it. And you can see how I finished the inside was actually, this is just a piece of bias.
Yeah.
Is there lining in this? I don't think I lined it, but maybe I did. Let's check, because I might have lined the bodice. I did, no, did I? I did line the bodice. Okay, so the bodice is lined with the cotton organdy. And then the sleeves aren't, they're left sheer.
And this whole dress is finished with the serger, like these layers.
Yeah, there's no hems in this dress.
Narrow hem.
These are all little narrow hems. It's right here on the sash also. Yeah, there's basically no hems in this dress.
And then Mom made a little cover for it.
This was a dust cover.
And is that an amaryllis or a lily?
Well,
it's supposed to be an amaryllis.
She played amaryllis, but it's a lily.
Yeah. So it's supposed to symbolize that. So you're going to receive some of this cotton organdy in the Sew Here box to play around with. And this is quite a bit just to be...
Right, if you're just using it for
cutting
collar
out,
interfacing. Or all of you that are making the button-down shirts, oh man, this in the collar. And if you want to put it in the placket and the cuffs, there too.
Bethany asked, how does the cotton organdy feel against the skin? So it's a little stiff, but
it's stiff.
It's very smooth.
It's really, it's like slick almost.
Yeah.
So it's, if it would be stiff, it would be because there was a raw edge. And like I said, once you launder it, it does get softer.
But it still helps the garment maintain a structure.
Absolutely.
Without changing the hand of the garment a lot.
That's the big deal. Yeah.
But this cut edge that we're feeling right now, it feels kind of like sharp because
it's very precise sort of. I guess.
And it's because it's stiff, but like the actual fabric here that I'm smoothing my hand across and like putting on my face and stuff, it feels very, very smooth.
And for instance, on your collars or whatever, so I've got a cotton or a cotton poly fabric or a flannel, and I put this in my collar, and if I want that collar to be re-stiff, I use spray starch, and it permeates the fabric, and it goes into this, and you get it all over again.
Karen asked a really good question.
I almost always use.
You have to repeat the question.
The question is, do you use it for a pressing cloth? Oh yeah. In fact, that's how you know it's a pressing cloth, is because I just serge around it in like a bright color, red or orange or something. And
then you don't cut it.
And then you know it's my pressing cloth. Except when I can't find my cotton organdy, the pressing cloth then becomes the interfacing for a while or something.
It gets sacrificed.
It's happened that I haven't had the bolt of organdy here or something, and I took it home. So I actually sacrificed and used my pressing cloth.
So if you do get a half yard of this, and you use part of it for interfacing, and you want to cut off part of it for pressing cloth, you could cut this in half.
So Karen,
really nice.
I'm glad you brought it up, because one of the really good reasons that it's a good pressing cloth is it's cotton. So it absorbs and handles the high temp, and you can see through it. So you see what you're pressing.
What you're doing.
Now I will tell you, I have more than one pressing cloth. Sometimes I will also have maybe like a piece of muslin there that I use as a pressing cloth or something like that. And then I always have my Teflon. But this is the to die for pressing cloth. I actually have seen these made and packaged, and it's like a fat quarter. And sold for $40, in like an heirloom store.
Right.
And it says pressing cloth, and over there on the other wall there's a bolt of it, which is obviously not $40 for a fat quarter.
It's not $160 a yard.
Right.
So this is 100% Egyptian cotton organdy, and it's $14 a yard. I actually don't have it listed yet.
Now you will. You may be able to go on the internet and find organdy for $7.50 a yard or $8 a yard. But you do have to be careful, like you said, the slubs, the imperfections, because that's not what you want.
It really is
You're
different.
really wanting the pristine cloth.
And we know
for these
because
purposes.
we ordered some.
Oh yeah, I've
And
sent bolts back before.
There's Cotton Organdy that's more expensive than this.
Yes, there is.
There's Cotton Organdy that's $30 a yard.
Yes.
You know, but we found the quality that we
Right.
think works really nicely. And Anna said, so glad to finally see what Cotton
Right.
Organdy is. I had a vintage children's dress pattern, called for it in the petticoat. Yeah, so that's what
Yeah.
this is.
And you'll see that. You'll see a lot of undergarments or they'll put it as a stiffening in a collar, but you will also actually see the garment body made out of it too. So don't be surprised.
I follow a lot of historical garment makers
Mm-hmm.
because I'm fascinated, and they all have sort of different, what do I want to say, like levels of accuracy. Like
Right.
some of them are costumers.
Right.
Some of them are actually historians.
Right. And in costuming, you know that we did what we called down and dirty,
Right.
and then we did what we call pristine, and there's all the levels in between.
A stage production versus a movie versus
Right.
when these people are reenacting and, doing this for
Absolutely.
a passion, and then people who are actually like at the historical sites and dressing up models like Catherine Parr and stuff,
Right,
It's
and-
all different, but they talk about Cotton Organdy a lot.
lot.
They'll be like, this is an Organdy Victorian
The,
dress. Or
the
da,
thing
da, da,
that
da.
I think is funny with historical costumes is that, and I've made some historical costumes, but I've never used whale boning.
Some people do.
I went with the steel.
No, I think that what we
yeah.
think of as our historical costume
Right.
work might be frowned down upon.
I just can't. I've never gone that far. I've never gone as far as the whale boning because, well, expense is one thing, availability is another.
Right.
The sourcing, and sometimes you can't get it like in the size you want, so you wind up having to like piece it together. I use steel, but if I
Well, and there's also there's people who are literally hand sewing
right, people
hand
do hand
embroidering.
sew. Right.
the whole garment.
Right, right.
Not just the hems, not
Right.
just little things or
Right.
something. They're doing the whole thing.
Or
but
they never use a snap, or they never,
Yeah,
they never
no-
use a hook. I mean,
no metal grommets, nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
But anyway, the Cotton Organdy, it's got a long history, and so we wanted to tell you what it was, but also tell you what we kind of like to use it for. And the white, like I really wish I could have included the black in the box.
Well, it'll come in. It's just.
It'll come in, it'll be available, and box
some-
people get a discount code.
And for some reason, black always seems to be on back order. I guess the dyeing is an issue. I don't know. But Karen, put it on your list and you can order as much as you want. Like we sell it by the yard.
Yeah, we'll do the half yard in the yard is what we'll do.
Amanda, the people that weave their own fabric for
Grow their own cotton. Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
have their own sheep or their own alpaca. I just, hey, almost everybody here makes their own underwear. I buy mine. I really like that laser cut underpants they have now.
I'll get you a laser cutter.
So, it seems like I can just buy it, okay?
Everybody decides what they want to
That's
make,
right,
and
that's
then
right.
we get pissy about certain things, and other people are like, "Well, blah, blah, blah."
Well,
it's just funny.
I mean, I know. Well, it's like they call me like the sewing Gestapo, on self-sewn.
Right.
Or they're afraid I'm going to give them a demerit. And I will tell. Somebody will ask me or ask a question even to the group, and I'll answer, and they'll say, or someone else will say, "But I do this and it works." If it works, it works.
Yeah.
It works. The things I'm telling you I do have worked for me, and I've been the happiest with.
Yeah, and that's there's
Laser cut panty source. Okay, Karen. Maybe we can work out a deal and have them made.
we try to be. It's a fine line between making recommendations and then being open to new things, but we got a podcast coming down the pipeline.
I don't know, which one is it? Oh no, that was kind of I'm afraid of that one even being published.
You know what it is.
Yeah, I do know what it is.
We get a little controversial about our advice and stuff. So anyway, but this is what Cotton Organdy is. Those of you who have ordered boxes, you're gonna get a half a yard of this. You're going to get a discount code in your box as well, and you.
Amanda, I always kind of like just sock it to you. I think you can take it. Amanda says, if I'm asking, I clearly want
Right.
input. Yeah.
Well, that's the funniest when people
Yeah.
ask and they're like, but. And I'm like, well, I want
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you a funny story about the shirt that I'm wearing.
You put it on backwards or upside
Well,
down.
I always can do that.
Upside down.
But I came home and Zelda has been very like, she doesn't want me to keep kissing on her all the time and hugging on her and stuff.
She's very independent right now.
Right, you know, and she's like, no, mama, you know, and stuff. And I came home and she's standing on this chair at the counter and Derek's cooking and she's like, cooking, mama, cooking fish, cooking, mama, cooking. You know, she's like so excited. I'm like, hey, and I was like, can I have a kiss? She's like, no, mama. And so I take off my coat and I have this shirt on. And she just looks at me and like reaches toward
the
me,
color.
and she like pulled me toward her and she licked me. She like thought that shirt was gonna like, I don't know what.
It was going to taste good. It was going to taste
Now you all
good.
know I wore this shirt yesterday too. So anyway, cheers. Yeah.
Oh, and you laundered it last night, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I just sprayed it with some vodka.
Vodka the pits. I did that when we had to wear the sequin shirt
Twice in a row.
I vodka the pits, and it smelled better than when I had gotten it out of the closet
there you
the
go.
first time.
No, but I thought it was funny. This shirt is sort of like textured.
Sherbert, yeah, Marissa.
Knit,
It is. It's like that ribbon candy.
Yeah. There's something about. So anyway, she was just. I was like, you know, you don't have to like mama, you know.
Right. Well, you might take the vodka into consideration if she's licking your clothes.
Yes. The other,
I rewear sometimes. No, Stephanie. Oh no.
I rewear a lot of clothes.
Well, sometimes I will like wear 2 different types of outfits in one day, and I've only worn it for an hour or 2 hours. So
Or you
I put it on
haven't been.
again.
See, I wasn't on the record yesterday.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I didn't have a live.
There's no
so
proof.
I think about that.
There's
I'm
no
like,
proof.
the people who came in the shop yesterday aren't going to come in the shop
They don't
today.
know. Right.
And then I, Janelle says I tried with the vodka.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. And then she said her husband will be okay with her ordering the spray bottles. The spray bottles make all the difference.
They do.
Before Derek and I had a spray bottle in
Except
the
Derek,
house.
I find Derek drinking out of the vodka spray bottle.
Not the spray bottle. He
Well,
just
he-
drinks the laundry bottle.
But yeah.
Drinking, you don't want to use the spray bottle. He's doing it right.
Yeah, no, Karen, sun visors, hats, anything like that you think like would be Febrezed or you don't want
Okay.
to launder.
Let's just get
Febreze
into
is a dirty word.
Let's just
here.
get into it. You're stealing my topic for tomorrow.
Oh no.
Okay, so I'll have to come up
Derek
with.
needs better vodka. Well, we
no.
do have better vodka, but when he drinks it all, what are you going to do? You give him the cheap stuff. And after that time, he doesn't know it's the cheap stuff.
That's right. So,
Drinking laundry vodka. Yeah.
what was I saying? Oh,
Febreze.
yeah, my topic for tomorrow was going to be a Febreze rant.
Oh. Well, you've
Current-
had that before, haven't you?
No,
okay.
other rants. I don't think
Okay.
a Febreze rant. So
Maybe we had a freeze rant on the other podcast.
maybe it's all right. So what I want to say is, if you watch TV, I watch TV, and you see the current Febreze marketing campaign that's been going on for about a year or so.
It's
I
not
think
the
now.
one like when they fill the place with garbage and set the people in it or something.
No, because see, that could almost work. Okay, the one where they fill the place with garbage and spray it down with Febreze,
Yeah.
and then people don't know there's garbage in it.
Yeah, 'cause they're smelling that
That's
awful
because
Febreze.
Febreze is a perfume,
and
right?
Febreze numbs your
Okay.
olfactory sensory reception.
Here's the deal. That what they're doing now.
Okay.
The mom walks into the boys' room, or the people are like, we have a million
Yeah, Karen.
dogs or something, or whatever.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, we need to wash this room. And
Yeah,
then the other
right.
person's like, wash the room?
Yeah, how do you wash
a
a
room?
room?
And then they show Febreze.
Yeah, well, I
and
wash my
then
rooms with vodka.
They have a dramatization with like fibers. It's as though they're zooming in. It's a computer
Right.
generated. Zoom in on fibers, and there's nasty little green things on the fibers, and then there's little Febreze bubbles coming in and taking the little nasty green things off the
That's a
fibers
lie.
and breaking them up. Yeah.
That's a lie.
That is
They're
some
covering
BS.
up the little green, whatever they
if
are.
you
The
think-
vodka is what kills the little green
Okay,
things.
if you think that putting Axe body spray on yourself is the same as showering, then that's the
My
same.
dogs are peeing everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Mom's always interrupting me. So if you think that spraying perfume on yourself or Axe body spray is the same as showering, that's what Febreze is doing in your house. Now, I'm not saying, people are saying it's toxic or it gives them hives. Like, I guess if someone's using Febreze and they're happy, like, I don't know.
I say if you're using Febreze and you think you're happy, I think you should try vodka and find out you could be happier.
Yeah.
And yes, people are talking about.
You're here.
Go get the vodka bottle. People are talking about. Mary said it. I don't know, or Karen said it. I don't know who else said it all because the comments are going. But spraying your bed, spraying your couch, We sprayed a camper we bought one time. It was full of mildew. Mallory sprayed her car. So vodka doesn't hurt things. And you don't get stuck with that perfumey, overwhelming smell. And Fred was talking about being allergic.
Oh, yeah.
Of course you can. No one's allergic to vodka. It's organic. It's just potato juice.
You can get organic vodka. Well, the thing about...
You can get organic vodka.
The thing about the vodka is, so it's a lot of alcohol, right? And it just evaporates really quickly. So you spray it on the things, okay? Mm-hmm. And then it evaporates, it's gone, and it has killed bacteria. Now, it doesn't get rid of particulate matter.
Right.
So when people ask us about smoke,
right,
that can be different
if
the
smoke is tar that's coating something.
Yeah,
yes.
or like, okay, if your dog poops on your couch, you have to get
clean
the poop
it first,
up, okay,
right.
And then you have to, then you need to soap it, you need to, whatever, dab and stuff, and then you can do the vodka. Or if your dog's anal glands burst.
The thing about Febreze too is it will make it like oily, or what. Please tell me you're actually spraying each other right now. But here, I get the vodka.
Yeah,
she's getting disdain.
So disdain is not organic. Don't drink it. No.
But you can use the disdain to clean up the dog poo.
Yes.
Okay? And then, after you do that and rinse the fibers well or whatever, then you squirt it with vodka to make sure, like, you get the scent out.
I mean, I will say, you have some empty Febreze bottles that you use for other stuff. They do design a nice plastic spray bottle, I like these spray bottles best.
I'm trying to think that Febreze, I think, was left in a costume shop one time, and I took the bottles.
If you are a costumer, do not spray Febreze on your costumes.
And if you're a costumer on like a dry campus, and they say, oh, you can't have vodka here, what you do is you take your vodka label off, or whatever, and you put like a skull and crossbones, and you can buy some really neat ones.
You need to talk into your mic.
You can buy some really neat skull and crossbone holographic logos at your auto store, like auto parts store that people put them on their cars, and you put it on your bottle, and you call it just, spot remover or cleaner, and you don't tell anybody it's vodka, and you just fill it with vodka.
Yeah.
I guess
the Febreze can hurt the costume.
I'm wondering if, like, what is that when after you commit a crime and then, it's long enough that they can't.
Statute of limitations
has probably gone on me for having vodka
at
the local high school and the local college that said they were a dry campus.
Same thing happened
to me. Laundry
solvent.
solvent, do not drink. Ha ha ha.
There you go. So
thank you, Marina.
The vodka really is it is a bacteria killer. And
Karen has brought up, for those of you that are not familiar with these bottles, they really are excellent. They're aluminum. How many ounces? 15?
15.9.
Okay, so when you fill them, they're not too heavy. I had like one of the big plastic bottles. I always make all my own stuff, and I can't remember what I had in it, because I even keep a bleach solution in a spray bottle. And I was in my laundry room, and I picked it up, and I dropped it, and it burst.
Yeah.
And part of it was too heavy.
Right.
And it was plastic. And plastic disintegrates. These, honestly, you're right. These bottles have a good mister on them.
Yeah, they have an adjustable mister.
And you can actually close it even
Check
if
out
you want.
how this can sit in your hand. Look at
yes,
that.
Ergonomically proper for your hand.
Very nice.
Yes,
Very
yes.
nice. Okay. I love it. Yeah, cheap gallon vodka,
Yeah.
totally good enough, Diana.
Diana, like your Costco or Sam's gallon.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, check this out though, the gallon at Sam's or Costco, it might be cheaper at your grocery store.
Yeah,
So-
the cheapest vodka.
Yeah, cheapest
The
vodka.
cheapest vodka.
And that'll keep you from drinking it too.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
you know, unless it's election night and you're all out of booze, right? That's what happened to us.
Karen wants to say, what am I doing?
Calling her
I know somebody named Mary Derby.
Yeah.
So Karen wants a second set.
yes.
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 Well, I also have some that don't have these labels on them that I put other stuff in, like my bleach solution. Or what? You got a gallon of vodka at Walmart for $10. That might be worth a trip.
Yeah, go down to New
Yeah.
Orleans, get some
Yeah.
beignets and some cheap vodka.
That's right. That's right. The other thing about the vodka, I will use it in place of something where I was going to spray bleach into
Uh-huh.
sorry. So say I was going to use bleach because I'm worried about the bacteria growing back, or I want to kill the bacteria, or whatever it is. I can use the vodka and know I'm not going to harm the fabric generally.
You know what I did? I have one of those washers that you're supposed to leave open.
Yeah.
And my husband doesn't leave it open
Right.
all the time. So he
The
left
dog
it.
shuts ours. Yeah.
He left it closed, and I opened
It's
it.
mildew.
It smelled like mildew, and so I just sprayed vodka around in it. You know.
Karen wants my bleach spray recipe. This is okay. I do half and half, 50-50.
Water and
Water,
bleach.
water to bleach. But I will tell you, a 10% bleach solution, which would be 9 parts water, 1 part bleach, is supposedly will kill even the AIDS virus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that will kill any viruses you have.
We're not guaranteeing that.
No,
Let's just do a
disclaimer, disclaimer. But what I tend to use it for, like I spray it in my dog's eating bowls to clean them, like.
And then you rinse them, yeah.
And then I rinse them and stuff like this, and I'm like meaning to really get it.
Right.
So it's kind of up. It's up to you what you want that bleach solution to be, and right. Yes, Amy, used in labs and hospitals.
Yeah, that's
the 10%, right? Right, bleach all over it, because you certainly don't want to pick it up thinking it's vodka and spray, your red dress.
or water.
Right, right.
Yeah, you need to be
You
labeling
need to
these
really
things.
label it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're gonna work on making it.
Yeah, their
even.
Fred is saying 10% bleach. I'm telling you, we used it, in phoresis machines. That's how we cleaned them. We put 10% bleach solution through a phoresis machine so we could hook the next person up to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your bottles come with the disdain recipe, which we can talk about on another day. And actually, we've already done a podcast on it on Sewing Out Loud.
Right.
We talked about the disdain solution that Mom likes to use. Okay, well, Mom, you had anything
we
else to
talk for
say
long enough?
about
Oh my
Cotton
gosh.
Organdy? Or
I just
anything
think
like
that if you get this Cotton Organdy, you're going to like it. I
Yep.
don't think it's a mistake ever.
I think it's
just
exciting that
yeah.
we're putting it in the box too, so that people
Right.
can get a chance to
Right.
feel it. And the box is a great way to try new things.
Right.
So if you're interested in buying the Sew Here box, go to sewhere.com/box. And I do need to change the description because you're going to get a big piece of white now
Instead of
a
you were
little-
going to get this much, but it was going to be half black and half white.
Yeah,
Now it's
one
gonna
white,
be all
one black,
And those of you who aren't getting the box, I feel sorry for you, but you can order this separately.
You'll be able to order it separately. Yes.
This box, okay, is funny. It's got some very entertaining, funny stuff in it that's going to be exclusive to you that ordered it. I'm just telling you that. I just saw it all. I just had to proofread a bunch of stuff. It's funny.
Yep, we crossed all our T's, dotted all our I's, put apostrophes.
Tried to
where they
spell
need to be,
everything
tried to spell
correctly.
things right. Yep, exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you get something sewn today. And this is what Mom says at the end of every Sewing Out Loud podcast.
So long and so happy.